In March and April this year, I had a chance to pursue a project called Warszawiacy Międzypokoleniowo. The initiative aimed and still aims at introducing cross-generation communication among Warsaw citizens. And before I tell you about what we've actually done as a project group, I'd really like you to know how the whole idea actually started. Because it was when we gathered as a group of 6 teenagers around a common table to discuss ideas passionately, when we realized that it was wrong that we live in a society in which older people tend to be excluded from social integration and everyday entertainment. And to put it into simple words, have you ever heard your friends talking through the phone? Hey, grandma, let's go out tonight. Or hey, grandpa, let's hit the town and paint it red. Well, I don't think so. Because what? Does it sound strange? Does it sound weird? If so, it should not. Because we do not have too many problems to strike up a conversation with strangers on the street that are our age. But we do have some problems to do this very same thing with people from the opposite generation. Because what? We are not used to do so? Then we should get used to do so. And these are some negative sides that I've just mentioned. But just to be able to look from the brighter side, we realize that we also do live in a society in which family bonds are really tight. And we are the ones to take advantage of it. And another thing that we took advantage of was creating formulas that will serve us as platforms, integrational platforms. And platforms because consisting of elements that would be common to both sides, both generations, the youngest and the oldest one. And this is how our formulas were created, like swoje ubranie, ubierz wnusia, and ograj dziadka. And all of you non-Polish speaking guys should really regret not being able to sense the meaning that is being conveyed for all of these names. But to give you a glimpse into these formulas, I want you to know what are these elements that are common to both generations. Because when we were creating swoje ubranie, we realized one thing. Hey, our grannies are perfect in creating the best food preserves that we know, the best jar of jams. And as they are perfect preparers and cookers, and we are the very lucky eaters and consumers, then why not create a common joy out of it? Why not create a big table laid with jars of jams around which we could gather, talk, and exchange intergeneration ideas? And similarly, when creating ubierz wnusia, guys, formerly our grannies used to learn how to sew and how to knit. That's why they can make the best sweaters in the world. And right now, at the very moment, we are experiencing a comeback of the hipster-looking, purposefully outdated sweaters. So, isn't that obvious? Let's create them together. Let's have the grannies sew and knit, and us design, or us learn to sew and knit, and grannies learn to design. Look how many opportunities it generates. And the third formula, ograj dziadka, in which we took advantage of board games. Because depending on the type of game, whether it was traditional like chess or novel like Uno, every side, every of the two generations could be the winning side. Nobody was here superior or inferior. This shows that the flow of experience and knowledge can come from both directions. And you know what? I could continue with telling you about with whom we've cooperated, with how many organizations and social groups we've cooperated. And that's extremely crucial. I could also continue with telling you about all of the awards that we've got, because it's nice sounding, isn't it? But before I tell you that, I'd like you to know about all of the little moments that constitute for our project. The seemingly unimportant, so easily omitted moments that we outlived with the participants of our project. And I will tell you a story. I will tell you a story of a dance with a 70-year-old guy. And yes, I do say guy, and I could say fella, dude. Because at this very moment, his soul was ageless. And what really mattered was the here and now. And guys, you know what? At the very moment, I was the one to lose my breath at first. And I was the one to mix up the steps and realize that not me, but my partner was the one to live the life to the very fullest and seize it, seize the lasting moment. And this whole experience made me realize how erratically we attribute things, phenomena, people, yes, people, to the past, while they can still contribute to the present and play a vital role in what is going to happen. And before I tell you about the consequences of making such a realization, I'd like to conduct a little experiment whose part are going to be you. And okay, I'm going to be as well. Let's do it together. So whenever the questions I ask apply to you personally, do not hesitate to raise your hand, as, well, believe me, I'm the one who's supposed to be terrified while standing on the stage. So let's give it a shot. How many of us have ever made New Year's resolutions in which we decided upon changing something in our lives in the forthcoming future? That's right. And how many of us have ever made statements similar to, I'm going to gain these skills because these will enable me to do something someday? Okay, I'm glad for your reaction, because had it not been for this reaction, my further talk would not make that much sense. But what should strike us when realizing all of these questions is that they contain a hell of a future tenses that simply blur our insight into the daily perspectives. And now, why is this so important to realize? Why should you feel that the theory I'm trying to convey should apply to you personally? The fact is that we do live in a generation in which so many people tend to get frustrated because their daily contributions do not impact the reality they live in. And a huge percentage of the very same people get to leave their country of origin and emigrate into a, how do they call it? Better realities. Yeah, better realities, they bet. But you know what? By doing so, these people escape into ready-made realities where, yes, resources are easily available, but they become adept users only. And to become wise creators and changers, you need to be able to do something else. You need to be able to see a lack and embrace it. You need to be able to contribute and embrace the locally oriented, act here and now perspective. And doing so is already extremely valuable. But the thing that generates the biggest benefits and the way that serves as a real powerhouse is a combination of doing so and doing it with a right mindset. And now, what do I mean by saying right mindset? Well, I saw so many people that, yes, contributed, yes, influenced the reality they lived in, and that was already extremely valuable. But these people were living from Sunday to Friday, constantly saying, "Oh, damn, let it be all over. I'm tired, I'm fed up, I'm exhausted. It's hard and tough." They were looking into the future, waiting for success to come, for quietness, equilibrium. And you know what? This may come, but it may also not come. And what really matters and generates the biggest opportunities is being able to embrace the here and now, to contribute, and do it with a constructive mindset, seeing values in embracing the hardship. And I'm not asking you, some of you, to become optimists from pessimists, because it does require a psychological shift. That is quite difficult to obtain. What I'm asking you to do is to change the mindset and be constructive, because it arises from motivation, self-assurance, and local awareness. And this combination, the combination of contributing to the here and now and being constructive, shining like a little sun, is the thing that generates values and makes other people willing to do the same. And now, before actually I tell you this, let's not get that much into the future. No, it's too easy, too fast. I can show you that I'm doing the same right now, because I can look into the eyes into one person who's not listening to me and get distracted. But you know what? I can also look into the eyes of the very same person and get motivation to speak even louder, and then shift my focus into somebody who's truly engaged into what I'm saying and realize how important the message I'm trying to convey is. This is being constructive. This is influencing the now and experiencing joy out of it. And now, a crucial question appears. Thanks to whom did I have a chance to realize this all? To learn from my experiences and build on so many conclusions. It was when my journey began with Polska Młodych, an association that created a scholarship for people wanting to develop their project management skills and learn the ropes of effective social contribution. Their initiative is to be called, in free translation, "At least for your own future's sake," that only supports my conviction that the most successful projects are those less concentrated on future merits, but more focused into present needs. And it was during their workshops that I got to learn three very easy steps. Look around and see what's lacking. Then ask yourself, why do you want to make a change? And finally, find out ways in which you would effectively fill in this gap. And you might say, okay, 18-year-old girl, but this is pure theory. But you know what? The very same 3 steps I'm actually conducting here and now. Because as coming here, I already knew how important it was to show you my locally oriented perspective in which here and now mattered and contributed to so many benefits. And I didn't have to ask myself whether I wanted to make a change, because I already knew from my own experience about the merits that such an attitude generates. And finally, I chose a way to effectively fill in the gap by challenging you. So, I challenge you to define your place and define yourselves, but not tomorrow, not even today. I ask you to define it now and contribute. Thank you.